How's it going? This is Jose Trujillo. Let me put some more light here. Thank you so much for joining me today in my art studio. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I paint a duck in the pond. A duck in the pond. Okay? And very simple. You guys know me. I'm simple. Sometimes. Alright, so here we go. Here it is. I'm doing this in oil on canvas, right? This is an 11 by 14 inches canvas board. One of my preferred methods of surfaces. The canvas, of course, right? The canvas board is one of my favorite ones. It's just very sturdy. It's perfect also for if you want to do plein air paintings. Of course, it's like really the go-to for plein air paintings. But today I'm going to be doing this for my studio. So, see, this is how I do it. I sometimes you'll see me do something, you know, a little different, right? But essentially, it's this. I draw it. If you haven't practiced learning how to draw with your, and guys, I'm not an art professor by any means. I'm just kind of sharing what I do, okay? But if you haven't learned how to draw with your paintbrush, it'd be a good practice. Just doodle with it. You know? It'd be a good practice to learn how to doodle with your paintbrush. It's just this, for so many good reasons. I used to do portraits before. I used to do portraits a lot. And I learned, I don't remember who, one of the old masters, you know. I learned by reading somewhere that you want to draw with the paintbrush, you know. Like most people would first create probably the drawing with the pencil. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Whatever your approach is, by all means. I don't judge any approach. I just do mine and share it, and if it works for you, cool. If not, you know, it's fine. I mean, I'm not out in a quest to get you to paint like me. It's not really my thing. But you know, it's one or two things, you know, may work for you here. I don't know. So the next thing I do here is what? It's called blocking, right? And that's how I keep it. Simple. Look. You see? Very little, nothing too fancy. Okay? And you gotta find just what works for you, right? But nothing too fancy. Look. There you go. I got some fun people in the background helping me package my artwork. I'm gonna tell them to keep it down in the next video. So sorry if you hear someone else conversations. They're Santa's little helpers back there. This is what happens when your studio starts growing. You start getting some just different conversations happening in the art studio. So see, I block. That's essentially what I like to do. You know, it's called blocking. I block. And it's not a mystery, you know. It's not a hidden thing. It's just it's gonna take a bit of practice for some of you, you know. But had I not drawn it first, right, it would have been more difficult to block. Of course, right? Had I not drawn it with the paintbrush, is what I'm trying to say. It would have been like, wait a minute, how do you do that? So, um, if you're having a hard time also getting your values, I know that's a very important, of course, right? When you're trying to make something somewhat realistic appear, you know, three dimensional. You want to get your values right. Um, I recommend something that it's it's talked about, but not that much, I guess. And that is try not to use white. Okay, try not to use white in your artwork. It's when you're starting out. It's very. I know this is like painting 101. Okay, some of you may be like, "Oh, come on, please, are you really gonna say that?" Well, some people don't get it, you know. So I don't know who's watching. So those of you who understand it, it's all right. It's cool. But one of the reasons why the values are off for many people is because we tend to misjudge light. See, we see light somewhere and we automatically want to use white. It's the most common mistake, quote unquote. Now, remember what I said before. If you are doing it often enough and you're learning and you're absorbing, it's not really a mistake. It's just you're learning, you know. It's not really something to get caught up on. It's just that you're learning. And believe it or not, some of the stuff that people are like, oh, you must not do that. Actually, I did it enough to the point where I found my own angle on it. So, you know, so I don't really believe that you're doing mistakes. I just, you know, it's just it's a common thing. You know, we're going to call it a mistake, but it's a common thing that happens when you're creating, when you're new, right? Newbie. Or maybe you've been painting for a while and you're moving to something else, right? I don't know. Maybe you're not a newbie. Maybe you've been painting in a total different way. You know, some of you are like master abstract painters, self-taught. You know, that maybe are revisiting basics. You know, I mean, why not? And some of you might be artists that paint very realistic, that are trying to loosen up your brushstroke. I don't know. You know, whatever the case is, it's just like that. So whatever, whatever your thing is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right. So at this point, I'm not gonna put more detail into this. Okay. I'm just not. I'm not interested right now. I know I play by ear most of my paintings, if not all of them. So it's all right. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna create some light back here, right? And you can do it in different ways. Okay, you can do it with some light yellow, or you know, if you're doing this right, you can do it in different ways. I'm choosing to do it with some light yellow and Viridian green, right, or Viridian blue, whatever. I don't know how what it says in the tube that you have. Okay, so essentially I outline it. See, the reason why I do that It's because I enjoy. This is not always right, but because I'm kind of just walking you through what I do. I don't. It doesn't apply for every single thing, right? Sometimes you want to do backgrounds, sometimes first or whatever. I like to do this because I like the way it cuts. You know, the way this cuts. And what I mean cutting is when you're doing this, when you're next to the to another object, right, in the painting. So I like that. Okay. So now I'm gonna get some green. Okay, you'll see me hold a brush like this, and you see me hold a brush like this. It really just depends. Sometimes I hold it like this because I'm tired. I paint a lot. Sometimes it just feels better, okay? So don't get caught up on that either. I know some plein air artists love holding the brush like this. I don't know. It's just maybe the way that they, train themselves or were trained. I hold it like this by like my 10th painting. You'll see me start holding it like that. Or when I'm doing a very large piece, you'll see me do that. So, just giving you a little insight that I've been painting early on in the morning, and guys, I mean that's how that's how you just get more better, prolific. I'm I'm really shooting at being more prolific. I love the idea of painting plenty. I'm not a very big fan of, I don't know, working on a painting till my face turns blue and then saying, "Oh wow, that's a great painting." I, as you've seen here with my videos and everything, I am more interested in doing more than one painting or doing. I mean, of course, duh, right? But I'm interested in doing plenty of paintings. It's just, it drives me. I love it. Every single painting teaches me something new, and the immediacy in which I like to approach it always shows me a different um, angle, a different view, a different approach. I feel like I'm learning. I feel like I'm learning something else, something that maybe I would have never seen had I not taken on that approach, right? So that is why I like painting fast. That's why you see me doing um, this type of artwork. I of course like to paint also realism and that kind of thing. Especially when it comes to portraiture, it has more because now you're painting something that needs to look very much like something. It's not a random duck in a pond. Or it's not a random tree, right? It's now it has to look like Sally. So so that's a different approach. You know, it's just a different approach. Slightly different, not that very different. It's just slightly different. I still use my awesomeness to paint Sally. And I don't mean to offend anyone watching named Sally, okay? So this is how I do my thing, guys. Yeah. If it's your cup of tea, you're probably enjoying it. If it's not, it's fine. It's also alright. You may be enjoying it. Maybe you may be saying, I like to watch it. I wouldn't paint like that, but I like to watch this guy. I know a lot of great art out there that I'm like, wow, it's great stuff. But I will never do that. Or I wouldn't try that, or it's not my thing. So I get it. If it's not for you. So now I'm getting more into detail, right? A bit more detail. You can see I'm working a little bit more detail. I like to leave the detail for the most part for the end. Some artists don't do that. Some artists put the detail right away. I like to. I don't know, guys. Sometimes you'll see me like I play by ear. Sometimes you'll see me do the detail first, just depending on how. But okay, just different stuff. It's just a different approach. That's all it is. It's just a different approach. Alright. That's all it really comes down to. It's just a different. Alright. Alright. And there you have it, guys. There's my, I like to tie in also the colors. Like, for example, you saw that there. Sometimes I like to tie it in. And I pick certain places. It's usually, some of the stuff may appear random. Some of the stuff I'm trying to use I try to get a little bit more deep. I try to use the rule of thirds when I do that. So either way, it doesn't matter. It's just, it goes back to that. I don't want to lose you with the whole rule thirds thing. It's just for those of you who don't know, right? It's a thing. For composition, for photography and artwork and design. Go check it out. Go find out. If not, I'll also make a video about it. That way you guys have a more ammo under your belt. So there you go. This is Jose Trujillo. I'm a fine art artist. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and guys, don't forget to subscribe, okay? If you really like this, don't forget to subscribe. I got some very cool stuff that I can share with you guys. It's just kind of my, a little journey here as an artist. So you may find something that you like. I thought I was finished, but I need to sign it. And I also thought to myself, give it a little bit more love. Thank you. Till next time.